Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
Tomorrow is opening day.
This morning, didn't have a great hunt. Deer didn't move like usual.
We just got set up in the middle of this bedding thicket. Been saving this spot for the rut. I think it's a nice buck.
Boom! Hits a 170.
That was money. I think he's down right up there, dude. 10 yards.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy.
Baller rut.
Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, coming at you on the road. This episode, cruising about 70 down the interstate in Missouri, headed back to Illinois in the work car. Titan here. We got lots of stuff in the back, all the hunting clothes, guns.
We had it packed pretty nice going down there. Coming home, not so much.
That buck in the back taking up all that room. So we got a buck quartered up in a cooler, and then we got a buck caped out in a cooler, wrapped up real nice, headed straight to Ingram's in the morning. We're going to catch you up on what we got going on, how our rut vacation, how my rut vacation ended. Homie's still got a whole nother week to grind it out. We might go into that and see what his plans are, but catch you up today on how our hunting season's going and talk about the success we had down here in Missouri. Let's get into this show. We'll talk about the people that make this possible. Started with a VIP veteran broadhead. Homie got to send the combat veteran in the battle.
I did. Matt released that after we podcasted there last week, so exciting news out of them. They did release the combat veteran, their new 4-blade, and the next day after he released that, I got to put it into action and send it through a doe, and it was my shortest track job, 45-yard track right to the doe, and I think you also said that was your shortest track job on a deer with a bow.
Besides the hard shot with a veteran.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's the best blood trail I've ever had with a deer.
So top of the lungs, and you can see where the blade's deployed in the top of the lungs. There's just 2 little incisions outside the main ferrule. So very impressed with that. Zipped right through, complete pass through. Cody nailed the footage on it, got to pull a couple of screenshots off of it and sent them to Matt. So very impressed with the combat veteran off the first test run.
Yeah, I'm super jacked. I'm ready to send it through. I'm about to go complete carnage on the urban public piece and just start taking out 9 does and shooting the range and within 20 yards last time I was out there. So I'm about to take at least 3 out or so. But get into the VIP veteran broadhead shout out, the VIP veteran combat shout out. We're gonna do Dustin Finnan this week. We met Dustin on some public ground. Guy is a hardcore hunter, puts in a ton of work, knows how to get it done on public ground. One of those guys you meet and you just know he knows his stuff. He's out there putting in the work. Got real close to being successful this year. He's was U.S. active Army, and now he is U.S. active reserves, still serving, and he does the weekends quite a bit, but he also does do some months traveling too. So I don't know exactly what he's into, but I know he does serve. So I appreciate your service, Dustin. I know that you said that you're going to start listening to the podcast, so hopefully you hear this and you get a little pump up. There's people out there appreciating the veterans and active duty the way that they should be.
Yeah, thank you, Dustin. We appreciate that, man.
Well, we got Ingram's Outdoor Obsession. We got a buck in the back. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's probably about 300 miles right now from the taxidermist as we speak. So
well, I think you got some time to think about it.
I got a little bit of time to
Ingram
think about
got it done again.
I know, Ingram got it done again. Ingram's bucked out. Bucked out with a bow. What did he say? 5 yards off the ground?
7 yards off the ground. Epic.
Said he had the wrong wind to where he was going to go hunt. Said he still wanted to hunt instead of pressing it like he would in the past and just hunting the wrong wind. he tried to set up on the edge and still got it done. So
And that's what I told him. I said, hunting smart is always the right thing to do. So just proves that that's what you got to do sometimes is hold up.
he probably was sitting on that hedgerow like, man, I'm never going to get it done. This is dumb. And then, oh, wow, okay.
It's 7 yards.
He did it early, too. It was early in the day.
Yeah.
He sent BBD, and we were out in the woods like, what in the heck? It's early, man. But let's get into ECW. ECW, you guys know that they are on every one of our blogs now. There will be a header, and you guys will be able to check out one of their products. We got a blog releasing this week.
Yes.
And we're going to be covering turkey calls. We're going to be covering their double-sided turkey calls. That's their patent pending calls. That's going to be in Gander outdoors, all over the United States. So that's pretty awesome for ECW calls. Check that out. Go to their website or go to our website, read the blog, and then hit the link and take you right there. Scent Lock. We were down here in Missouri, and we've been used to that Illinois weather. It's only 6 hours, man, but what difference 6 hours can make in the temp. So we're down here, and we're hunting, all-day sets or 6-7 hour sets on those cold days, trying to get in there not early in the morning, but later, and then hunt through the day. And, at 25, 20 with the wind. We way overdressed down here.
Yeah.
Tonight we went out with tactic suits, and that was it. It was like early season.
It was 56 down here today.
Yeah, 56, and still seeing some action.
Scent Lock needs a tank top because that's what I needed.
Yeah,
tonight.
I was still hot walking in. Feet got hot. I was like, I told homie, I'm just gonna wear my tennis shoes down there.
Yeah. You put your camo pants on. I was like, this dude is serious.
Yeah.
I was like, bucked out today, so he's calling it.
Yeah.
Wearing the tinnies out.
Wearing the tin shoes, but no, I switched them up. All right, let's get into the show.
Let's see. Last time we left off with the Mega on Public.
Okay.
So we had that encounter on Sunday. I got a hair in my mouth.
We had that encounter on Sunday, and we had a real bad storm coming in on that Monday morning. And that was the last day that we could have hunted that public. But we had some cams out there that we needed to pull also. And on that public, if you have your cams out there past the date, they're the people that work on that grounds, then, because you were not allowed to go out there even pull your cams.
Mm-hmm.
So if they would ever see them, they could have took them, and then they go to that auction where they auction out, and then everything goes back to conservation. But
could you imagine getting a card out of a trail cam
that'd
and
be
just
sick. But
a couple megas on there?
But so these were Exodus cams, and we didn't want to leave them out there all year just for the pure pack. That we had a lot of problems with cams getting messed with out there. So we decided to pack it up that Sunday. What was it going to be? 25-mile-an-hour winds, and 3 inches of snow?
Yep, 3 inches of snow and about 18 degrees.
Yeah, it was supposed to be really coming down early in the morning. And we knew that us getting back there, we had to bike in, and I wasn't about to bike in with 3 inches of snow on the ground, no. 25-mile-an-hour wind.
We would have been so damn hot, you'd have got back there in about probably an hour is all the longer you'd been able to sit.
It's frozen. So, and then, like I said, we had those cams to pull, and that took us an extra about 2 hours to get out. Mm-hmm. And so we'd had to do all that on top of get all the stands out with 3 inches of snow with, you take a insane access that's a mile and a half, but it's the hardest mile and a half that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And then you put 3 inches of snow on the ground. You're trying to climb up straight hills. Just doesn't sound good. So we decided to back off on that. And we had some promising stuff. Chaos had daylighted on the private. And we went to the private and went after them. Had seen does every set, small bucks. And then we got to your hunt. So let's break down your kill a little bit.
Yep. So that was it Tuesday morning? Yeah, it was that morning. We had the heavy 8. We don't have a name for him yet, but he's been our actually our most daylight active buck on the property. He's 4.5, we're assuming. He's a very mature deer, pretty heavy 8-pointer, probably right at 130, maybe a little bit better. Really solid 8. He had daylighted that morning. We were out actually looking for a potential mega whopper for a buddy. A
buddy of mine shot a giant, and that was the most insane blood trail we've ever been on. We broke the drone out, looked for him, did a bunch, but he was talking 200-inch plus deer, and the guy knows his deer, so I wasn't doubting him at all.
Yep.
And ended up, we found the 4th bed, and this was after 13 or 14 hours.
Yep, and about 1,400 yards, 1,500 yard track.
Yeah, track job.
So we tracked it through like 3-4 foot tall grass. It just kept swiping on the grass. So I don't think it was like new blood, but it was just the same blood getting swiped over and over again. If we didn't have that grass, we would have only made it probably 100 yards.
I've hunted a lot of CRP, but most of the time, they die on the edge of the timber. I'm normally hunting that transition. With that CRP grass, we were always like, man, it'd be hard to track blood in this, but it was easy.
Yeah.
And the same thing on your doe kill.
Yeah.
Like, it was easier because they were brushing through that grass, and it just leaves a hell of a blood trail to follow if you're getting some pretty good blood.
Yep. So we were tracking that giant, and then the mobile cam goes off, get a picture of this heavy 8, daylight in the morning at 9:18. So we're like, oh man,
we should have been there. First mistake,
we should have been there. It was still brutally cold that morning too.
We could have had an opportunity at that buck, but we were helping a friend out. He'd actually let us hunt his piece one evening that year. So I'm always big on helping other guys, and it might come back to you sometime. I might be tracking a giant. He might be able to come out and help me find it.
Or like he knows the guy who knows a guy to get on the permission of the, to get onto that to track a deer or something. Yeah. So the right thing to do is always the right thing to do. Return a little favor there as well. So we had went to that stand knowing that buck's in the area. We just learned that morning that VIP had released a combat veteran out to the public, and 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 2:45. Cody spotted one down in the creek, and then they worked up north, which is opposite from us, and they crossed the creek, and then they started working south, right through the CRP grass, right up to the scrape tree. And I told Cody, I said, I'm going to shoot one of these. I've had a couple opportunities, but never even got a shot off on a doe this year, trying to sell film or, just had
deep on public and didn't want to drag it out. Or
so just a couple of situational things that we've talked about that just didn't allow me to take a doe. So this is a pretty good scenario. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take the first one because she was the biggest, I believe, and 24-yard shot, stopped her. Cody got it in frame, in focus, and sent the combat veteran. And I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked it. She mule kicked, went up to the east, and about 45 yards later, we almost seen her crash. We knew she was going down. We're kind of down in a bowl in a little bottom, so you can't see it from the road. And she ran towards the road, up the hill. There's a couple of spotty evergreens out there, and she just crested over that right by this evergreen, and we could tell she was going down. And then I looked up at Cody, and he looked at me, and then we heard her taking out the CRP grass, so we knew she was down. We were guessing it, 50, 55 yards. It ended up being about 45, and top of double lung, and that was our first experience with the combat veteran, and I was super impressed with it.
Yeah, I was super impressed. First kill together on frame, in focus, and the same tree.
First kill off Boonertown.
Yeah, we've been tiptoeing on that piece because, man, I don't know why we tiptoe on that piece. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, I think because I just thought of this. Maybe because there's not a lot of timber on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm always so safe, but we got good access. And I think that we think that the bucks aren't there, but they are. They're right there. It's just
Yeah, we were just counting up how many times we could have killed this year out there, and we're just like, well, we're saving it, or we just weren't there. And,
yeah.
I mean, we're up to like 6, 7, 8 times.
But I mean,
that's just what cams have shown, daylight activity too. So
yeah, and then you got. It's not like we're not hunting, but we're on other deer, and then we're getting almost opportunities on them. So it's hard to pick. That's one thing we were talking about, So we're hunting the same tree every hunt this year, all but like 2 or 3 hunts, just because something working out. You got to take over. I got to sneeze real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So, we're hunting the same tree. So instead of having, like, say we hunt 17 times, well, that's actually 34 sits, 34 different trees or scenarios that we're in. So we're doing it together. So it's just limited to 17. So we don't have intel from the west side of the farm when I've been sitting on the east side and Cody was on the west side. So it's kind of limited in that factor.
Yeah, you pretty much cut your season right in half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like ours, not your season, but like your success. So if you could be hunting and you're filming, that's a hunt that you've gave up and filmed when you could have had that moment of success. So like I could have been hunting west side and you could have been hunting Magnum PI, and one of us could have got it done, but now we're hunting one buck. And if that buck don't show, it don't show. You know what I mean? So if you're hunting 2 bucks, then you got double the odds of it showing. So
and we're not saying that, I'm pissed off that Cody's hunting or Cody's pissed off I'm hunting. It's just how the rotation's going.
Yeah, no, it's content over kill is what it is.
And we don't care. Like, we always get so jacked up when the other person kills or, whatever. Like, it's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah.
So
I want homie to kill.
It's a good and a bad thing.
I want homie to kill just as bad as I want to kill.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I want to see him successful. I know how much work he's put in. He's hunting the same amount I am. He's putting, he's carrying these stands and sticks in repeatedly. All the camera gear, just he's putting in the work just like I am. And you want to see him successful because when you're successful, when he's successful, you filmed it and had some success,
Yeah.
And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man. Like, it just felt good. Like,
Yeah.
man, that felt good. Like, you hunt all year, you're trying to save it, and then you just get a doe there, just broadside, just perfect, not alerted.
No.
25, 24 yards right there. And you're just like, I was just like, you got to shoot one of these.
And that was like the best case scenario. Like, there was not a lot of ruckus.
Maybe like 80-yard drag out, 100-yard drag
it ran
out.
towards the truck.
Yeah.
Got at least up a little bit of a hill. So and it was at like 3:00.
Yeah, super early.
Yeah, super early. So she went down. The other 2 does that were there just kind of bounced off. Didn't really know what happened.
Yeah, and then we had a buck come through.
And then we had a buck come through,
Just
and
a little while later. So
nothing ruined by doing that, and that was kind of all factored into the initial thought of I'm going to shoot one. So
yeah, and then you wanted to get one down with the bow. It's always good to get a doe down before you shoot a buck, and you didn't have that opportunity because you just get that confident.
Yeah.
You feel good. You made a switch up in your gear. And, you wanted to test that out, and you want to test new combat veteran, and you got all that done in one arrow, you know what I mean? So you built your confidence up, put a really good shot on them, checked out your new gear that you hadn't killed a deer with, and then got to test out the combat veteran and get the confidence in that everybody else that's been shooting stuff is showing. So it's definitely a good time to kill a doe, and a doe kill is obviously not as epic as a buck kill just because it happens more frequently, but it's still pretty epic, man. Like, you did the exact same thing. You just don't have a rack on it when you walk up there, but you still had to draw on the deer, still had to find your point. I feel like if me and you killed a lot more does when a buck came in, we'd just be so much more zoned in, so much more ready.
Yeah.
That's something, like I said, I want to try and just. I got that new chest freezer. I'd really like to have it pretty full. So
yeah,
turn to Brad Collins out here and just start murdering.
So taking into Wednesday, you got the wagon blind finished, and we thought you might have built it too tall to
No,
get it through the
yeah.
power lines.
Yeah, so I built this wagon blind, and us being, I'm all about whatever it takes to get it done. So if I'm hunting bow, muzzleloader, gun, whatever it takes. But we love bow hunting, and the reason I really like bow hunting is you get to hunt more. The season's longer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I was telling him today, I got it done with a gun, and it's a lot sweet. It's sweeter with a bow, but I don't know why. It's just you're close. You had to really nail it, but it's easier with a gun. You know what I mean? I honestly believe I kill with a gun, and it's easier. You still got to get in the right spot, got to be there, but the shot is so much less stressful. You know what I mean? You're not like, oh, that limb might get me. You're just like sending it,
Yeah,
opening.
you don't have to worry about that little twig there.
So, but anyways, I built it 8 foot, because I was thinking when I put the 2x6s on, so it's 7.5. You know what I mean? Top of it's 8 foot. So I was thinking the roof's gonna be with the plywood, it's going to be 7'5". So I was thinking, when you stand up and draw your bow, how high is the cam above your head? You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, man, so I got up in there and drew, and I was like, I don't ever want to have a problem with, you shoot a little longer axle to bow, and you're hitting the ceiling. So I was like, I'm just going to make it 8 foot, you know what I mean? And then it's already on an auger wagon, a grain cart wagon that's pretty tall. So right when homie, I got it hooked to my truck, and I'm like, man, I might have messed up big time. He's like, what is it? I'm like, these power lines right in my driveway. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to clear these. I'm feeling like a complete dumbass right now. You know what I mean? I got it pulled up close to it. I'm like, all right, you tell me if I'm close, because you can't see anything when you're driving, you know what I mean? And I cleared it by about 2 foot, but still 2 foot's pretty close when you're driving, you're looking at it from 50 foot away, like, man, I don't know.
And then one of the brackets on the running gears broke, so it kind of has got a rock to it. And I'm like, dude, the drop off the road into the piece is kind of wicked, and then we got to cross a little dam over this rickety creek, and I'm like, this thing just might topple over, bro. I was like, what are you gonna do then? And I don't know what you said, but I was just like, promise you don't get mad. After Cody spent, 6 months building this damn thing, I was like, just don't get mad, man. We're on vacation,
Yeah. Oh, no, I would have got mad, but my wife said the same thing. She goes, how do you think it's going to pull? I'm like, well, I made it to where everything's centered on the edge, the 4 corners, just like it would be normally. Nothing, one side's not heavier than the other, you know what I mean? So I was pretty confident in it. And then once we got it on the road, I was real confident. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. Can't go faster than 20, though. 20 is max speed with the wagon blind. But we got it pulled in. We readjusted where we were going to put it, because we had some does accessing the food plot right where we wanted to put it. And it would have cut their path off and kind of in between some cedars. So we planted that Milo strip, and we literally put it in about 5 foot tall grass right next to the Milo, where if a deer is out in the bean flats in front of it, it's about 20-yard shot.
All the way to the opposite edge.
Yeah, to the edge of the plot. So
in the middle of the plot's about 12.
Yeah. So it's set up for bow hunting, you know what I mean? And we waited center beans, thinking late season. Maybe some of those bucks that are there be more daylight apt to come up in those beans. Still got quite a bit of beans there. They've been hitting them hard though. And we were kind of, it's a corn wagon. They see them a lot, but we were kind of worried about what the deer might do, because it just pulled up, and showed up in the middle of this field that right next to our food plot. And we had a doe come in early.
Yeah.
And she just went out in the food plot and fed.
Come all the way up to the mobile cam.
Yeah.
So she probably went up 120 yards from the first time we seen her, all the way to the property line. Got up there, ate on some oats for maybe 3 minutes, looked at the auger wagon, and went right back where she come from.
Yeah.
Just totally cool.
Yeah, real cool, calm. And then we had another doe come through, work the pinch. Didn't seem like it scared him too much. And then that evening, I think we had about 15 deer go by it, by the mobile cam. A lot of does, small bucks cruising around up there. And then the big 8 came out. So we hunted the wagon blind. It was cold, windy, and that thing is lights out for late season hunt. like I've never had like a solid blind that you could crawl into and hunt. But my gosh, I could see why like juries and everybody just hunts out of those because like me and homie are just talking. There's deer out in the plot. We're just regular talking, you know. We're like, oh, you know, is it still there? In the stand, we're whispering back and forth. We
in
feel
a
like,
lawn chair.
yeah, we're in a lawn chair. You know what I mean? Got snacks in there. Got the heater ripping.
So it was a nice hunt, better than sitting out in a
Yeah, and that was just, you know, the
stand,
hunts,
you know.
the hunts that before that, with that, like our toes are gone,
Oh, yeah.
hands are absolutely gone, frozen to death. We can make it for about 3.5 hours.
Yep.
That 4 to 5 hours is just that it just eats through your clothes finally.
Full
and,
max, you know,
Yeah.
we're good for 3.5.
yeah, 3.5.
After that, we're
We're pretty-
itching.
Yeah, we're pretty crisp.
Let's see. Thursday, we hunted back at the scrape tree.
Yeah,
again.
in the morning. Yeah.
Hunted back at the scrape tree.
So we had
hoping
that
to-
buck daylight on
Yep.
Tuesday.
hoping to catch him coming back through.
Then he was right after dark on Wednesday on the north.
Yep, coming. So where he's accessing the scrape tree, he's coming from the west, going east, and then when he gets to the scrape tree, he cuts south. And then when he's up by the wagon blind and the food plot, he's coming from the west, gets to the CRP, and he cuts north. And
Pretty much doing
So-
like a triangle.
yeah, so now we know definitely where he's been bedding,
Yeah.
at least this past week. So we tried to slip in there, scrape tree, wait him out, 9:30.
Yeah, he daylighted 9:20ish.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is look to see if like the wind changed or something at that time.
Yeah.
See maybe why he would be up at that time, because there was potentially not any does that we got on the mobile cam coming off the trail that he was on. But
Yeah.
not to say that anything could have come from the north, and if it was blowing to him, he would have been like, well, I'll go check that out.
Yeah.
So tried to slip in there. Didn't even see a deer.
No, that's the first set that we set on that property and never seen a deer.
No, so that would have been November 13th or 14th, the 14th.
Yeah.
And then we come down here to Missouri.
Yeah. Come down to Missouri. We showed up day early. Homie never seen the property before at all.
No,
So this is my grandpa and grandma's farm, Missouri. I want to say it's 140 acres, split up in two pieces. There's a 40, and then I think it's 160.
Really?
Yes, yeah. So there's a 40 and a 120, and it don't look like that much when it's
No.
timber. I mean, there's big blocks of timber right there, and
Yeah.
then the stuff across the road block it up. But yeah, and then but anyways, it's really like overgrown pasture, locust trees, real tall grass, Indian grass that's like 8-10 foot. A lot of pockets of plum thickets is what my grandpa calls them. I don't know.
yeah, blackberry or
Yeah, blackberry bushes.
yeah.
Just real thick, nasty stuff. Good rabbit habitat. And that's where we're finding the big bucks, is where it's real thick, nasty. He's got some food plots there, a couple clover plots. Deer were still on them, but they got hit with that frost pretty hard, and we didn't hunt by them at all, even think about it. But he had been telling us that he'd been seeing some bucks on this one clover plot, and he shot a pretty decent buck down there earlier in the season. And I told homie that I'd seen a real nice 8-pointer the year before and passed him coming out, or 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years
Coming
ago.
off the neighbor, coming back in this doe bedding. I said, why don't we go set up over here? And then homie made an adjustment to our stand that I think was clutch. I was thinking about kind of hanging back in that pocket
Mhm.
and getting back on that edge of that cover.
Yeah.
And homie, I was, thinking bow hunting, and homie's like, man, bro, you got a rifle. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we made a move. Go ahead and
Yeah, it kind of makes a T, and there's a lane that splits these 2 blocks of timber, and one block of timber is right next to the ag, and then this other one is more thick and kind of deeper, with this lane just split right down the middle. and I was like, dude, let's just go over here. We checked which way the wind was going to be blowing. I was like, let's go on this side of this lane. These deer are going to be coming off the ag, and our scent's going to be blowing away from that. So we'll just access it like this. You can shoot down this lane. You'll still be able to shoot everything from the tree that we were going to potentially go look at the being.
It's probably about 80, 100 yard adjustment.
And then I was like, we could still see all these. We can also see these plots up here instead of having to look through all the brush piles and stuff that were just out in the middle there. So we went over, looked at that corner, found a tree perfect. The most outmost tree on the corner, just perfect, the one that you want. We could use a couple of branches to get up extra high, and we were extra high.
Yeah, we were 20 plus, 21 probably.
Yep, so we were feeling like the deer are going to be moving from the south to the north, off the ag, through that block of timber, maybe potentially come through that lane or do what the buck did, and we'll get into that here in a second. And it was just nice for it to work out like we thought it would.
Yeah,
time.
We went to the property. We found some fresh sign, found a real good cedar rub.
A really fresh scrape.
Really fresh scrape right on the tree that we wanted to set in. So we had the mule, and we tried not to walk very much to get ground scent, just drive. And we'd seen that rub, and we seen that there was a doe trail there, and we were potentially thinking about that, but then we're like, well, we could shoot that back here. It's probably about 65, 70 yards. And then we seen that scrape there. And then homie's like, yeah, you can see this way. You can see back in here. You can see down there where I had potentially wanted to set up anyways. But we were kind of on like the high spot then. And I'd agreed that was probably a better spot. And like homie said, there's a bean field that the Mennonites plant. There's some hay fields, and we had actually seen a pretty solid buck that night out in that bean field. So we were thinking, okay, they're feeding in the beans, coming back through all that browse slow in the morning, and they might get there 30 minutes after light or so, the does, and then there'd be a buck following them. Well, we were right about that, but they weren't right about the time that they were getting back there. So me and homie, we've been going, 7 days at that point. 7 days. 3 all-day sets, nonstop, cold weather, moving stands, getting the wagon blind in there, 400-mile drive, hanging stand, moved a double man stand for my grandpa. Yeah. Any guy out there moving double man stands, props to you, because that is brutal. That was so much work. Even cutting a lane to get it in the timber, my grandpa, he had a niece, or you don't get along real good, so he wanted a stand move. He wants a stand moved every time I'm down there. It's clutch for him. So me and homie moved a stand, and those big double man stands, that would be hard for me to move by myself.
Yeah, I don't know how he even moves or even got it up in the first place.
So we had to cross this fence. We had to cut the fence for him, pull it back. We raked a bunch. Yeah, right there on
the fence.
Fence, yeah. Right there on the road. And then this is a piece that he shot a buck off last year. And he wanted to get up in where that buck had come out of more of the bedding. And there's a couple real nice rubs in there and a lot of acorns. We put him in a big oak tree, set the stand up for him, and something that small could just bring joy to him, what I mean? Just us
getting in a new area that he's always wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And we were kind of, the final piece to the puzzle of being able to make it happen. So that was pretty cool, you could just tell he's jacked up about it.
Oh yeah, he's super jacked, but new spot for him to set, and he's thinking crossbow hunting there, really max yardage to shoot's probably 60 yards anyways. And I was telling homie, you think rifle, and you're thinking, man, I'm going to shoot something 300 yards, and I was telling him most of the shots are 80 and in. And then when he's seen the property, he understand, like, okay, yeah.
Like, you might be able to shoot 150 if you were sitting over the plot,
If you were sitting over something where it's like mowed or something, but a lot of that stuff is close, a lot of timber edges and stuff. Not like ag fields where it's like you think of rifle hunting in Illinois, you're like, man, I could shoot like 1,500 yards, no problem. But anyways, I was getting at, me and homie, we'd hung the lone wolf sets again. It's like the 30th time we've hung them this year, it feels like.
Yeah.
Then we moved that double man stand. We had done some other stuff around the house. We had got down there late, woke up early, just burnt out. So this morning we're getting up and we're like, oh man, here we go again. Back to the deer woods. 8th day, and 8th day straight we were walking out and we put on way too much clothing.
I knew as soon as I walked out of the house,
you walked out of the house and you didn't even need gloves on.
No, and you ain't got no time to take any clothes off. You're just like, we gotta go.
Yeah, we woke up like the last minute that you could go. Like, it's probably to walk down there, it's a pretty good jaunt.
Yeah, and we took like the extra long access.
Yeah, because we wanted to stay away from the ag, so we added maybe like a quarter mile cut around, so we didn't bump any deer off where we thought they potentially would be coming from. We got down there. For some reason, we hung the stands and everything, but we didn't hang the camera arm. We didn't put bow hooks in the tree. We didn't get the safety lines in there. So we're doing all that, in the dark, and I finally get set up, and I asked homie, I said, you good? And homie, he's got a big setup, man. He's running big, heavy glass, so he's got a dovetail arm and a bigger fluid head than me, and he's got a lot of pieces that I don't have to do, So I help him kind of get the base on, and then after that, I'm just kind of sitting there, and he's doing his thing. It's still pretty dark, getting shooting light. And homie's like over there trying to get a bow hook in the tree or something.
Yeah, so I put my bow hook in the tree, and then I put the camera arm base, ratcheted it on, and then I had that hook up higher, and I was like, I can get it down low below that base. So I was just gonna do another half turn, and like it must have been damn near all the way in the tree, because then it was like stuck on the base. So I'm trying to go backwards because now I got it cockeyed.
Yeah.
And it's
so
not
he's
straight
like
up
shaking
or
the whole
straight
tree.
down.
I thought I didn't know what I thought he was doing. I look over there and I'm like, homie, I'm pretty sure I hear something in this tree.
This is after Cody just got back in the tree because I dropped my fluid head handle on the ground.
Yeah, he dropped his fluid head handle. So I climbed down, climbed back up, and he's like shaking the tree. I'm like, homie, I'm pretty sure I hear something. And I don't know if he didn't hear me or not, but he's still shaking the tree. I'm like, homie, there's something like 50 yards in this woods right here.
I didn't hear you the first time. I thought you were like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah. And so I thought you thought I was going to stop, but
yeah.
I thought you were asking more for like help.
Yeah.
And then the second time I heard you were like, hey, there's something over here. And I'm like, oh. So I stopped, and as soon as I stopped, I heard it.
Yeah. The leaves down there, there's so many oak trees. Those oak leaves are so dry.
Yeah.
We heard deer coming like 100 yards out. Be like, oh, there's something over there, deer. We're like, what? Squirrels terrible.
Oh.
But anyway, so we got something coming in right off the ag like we want, and then it's over there, and it's in the timber, and it's right at shooting light. And you know how it is, like you see the figure, and it's moving, and it's in the timber, and we didn't cut any shooting lanes back in the timber, really. We didn't cut any shooting lanes really at all.
No, we just trimmed a couple trees to get up to stand quiet.
And we got up in there. We were in there, and I looked in there. I said, man, that's a big body. And I told homie, I said, I think there's a buck coming. And we looked out in the field, and there's a doe. She just snuck in on us.
Mm-hmm.
She was probably 50 yards out in the grass, kind of working through. And I was like, well, if that's a buck, it's going to work out perfect because he's going to come out. And he comes like 20 yards past our tree.
In the timber.
In the timber. And then pops out on this edge and then works down. And homie's on the side the buck is. And I got to get up, turn. And I'm kind of waiting for him to get past where I can see him. And I asked homie, I said, look like a good buck? And homie goes, yeah, looks pretty good. I get the scope on him. I'm like, man, looks pretty solid, Looks like it's got good tines, good main beam. And I pull off him. I ask homie one more time. I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right. Then I said, are you on him? And he goes, yep, boom. And the deer just drops. It's about a 60-yard shot, shooting a 270, and hit him mid-body, right behind the shoulder, and it exited in front of the other shoulder on the opposite side, quartering away. Just absolute perfect shot. Deer just folded right there. Homie got it on film. Had the ice. I mean, props to you for you were just barely set up, and then you get your shutter down, get your focal down, get your ISO up. You had a lot going on. Get it in focus while it's that dark.
Yeah, just finding the deer.
Yeah,
is
finding the
tough.
deer.
Hell, even half the time hunting during the day, you're like,
you're looking at a 2-inch by like 2.5-inch screen, and it's just tough to find them. But homie gets on him, and I try to stop him. It's hilarious. You guys are hearing the film, so my mouth must have been dry or something, and I do the worst Matt to stop. It's like, and I'm like, almost cough and do it again, and he kind of picks his head up. He looks the opposite direction though, I think. So I don't know, but he finally stops, and the shoot, drop him. That doe's still standing out there. No idea what's going on. So we got a buck down on the ground. This is our second kill together in the tree, and I'm like, oh man, just smoked him and dropped him. And homie's like, yeah, he's right there. I said, oh, he's done. He ain't gonna move an inch, and we're kind of celebrating, knucking, and then this doe's like 10 yards right out in front of us. It starts bleeding. like I've hunted a long time, and I've heard like fawns bleed and stuff, but I've never heard like an estrus bleed, like the long can we were talking about. Remember the long can? I don't know who made that, but the one that you turn up and down, it's like beep, you know what I mean? That's exactly what it was. Like They nailed that sound, and I thought it was just like some scam, but they absolutely nailed what that doe sounded like. And we got it on film. She's just out there just ripping. And then me and homie, so we switch.
Yep.
So like I get out on this limb, homie goes around, I get behind the camera, homie's on the gun. I call my grandma and say, hey, just shot a pretty nice buck, let grandpa know. And this doe, through all this, is 15 yards just eating. And we're like, well, we got a live decoy here. This is pretty nice. And what she was there, another hour probably?
Dude, she was there forever.
Yeah, just another hour, just out there eating, browsing, not moving at all. And then we had more does come through, had a 6-pointer come through, another doe. Then we had a deer in the timber, and we lost it. And when we went down there this evening, we bumped it. And it was just a doe come in and bedded. And it just never come out of that timber because it was just in there laid down and bedded for the day. But we hunt till 9 or like 8:57.
Yeah, I was like, well, we'll just go till 9, and then you had asked me what time you were thinking at like 10 to 9. And I was like, let's just set 10 more minutes. And then you looked at your phone again. You're like, it's been a minute and a half since I asked you.
Yeah, I'm like, I was like, well, let's let homie hunt, and we knew we had a lot of stuff that we wanted to get done that day. So
Cody hunted for 10 minutes. I hunted for 2 hours, 2.5 hours
that morning. Yeah, but we got down, and we know we had shot a really solid deer. Half of his rack was like bedded in the grass. He was only 60 yards from the stand. I'm looking at it with the binos, and half of his other side of his rack's in the grass. We're like, man, we really can't get like a real good idea what he is. And he kind of died, and his head was tilted back. And I was like, man, that deer looked bigger when I shot it. You know what I mean? You know how you get in the stand, you're like, man, I hope there's not ground shrinkage like a mug when I go over there. And we got down going over there, and this deer, I look dumb as hell trying to dig it out of the grass. It's embedded in this thick grass. Antler like went down and up underneath of it, and I'm trying to pull it out. We get it out, and it's a really solid 10-pointer. Really solid for that area. Probably one of the bigger deers I've shot in Missouri. Biggest deer I've shot off that farm for sure. So I was pretty jacked about that. My grandpa shot a really nice buck off of it. I think his was a little bigger last year.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But that's just kind of how they are. And I was telling homie, we don't get the mass that we get in Illinois. There's not a lot of ag down there. And even the does are smaller. The buck bodies are a lot smaller.
I say you're dragging that deer around today.
Yeah,
by yourself.
I was dragging the deer around by myself. It wasn't even gutted yet, and I'm just ripping it around like nothing.
Yeah.
And you grab a hold freeze and try to do that, you ain't going too far unless you're going downhill.
Yeah.
But we got there, and Grandpa came down, and he got to see it. He's pretty jacked about it. Homie's nailing the camera stuff. We broke out all our gizmos and
finally
tried a bunch of stuff and tried to get those cool shots. Got the drone out, did some drone shots of the property, and we hope to put together a really good video for you guys. It's super, super special to me. Grandpa's getting older, and there about 3 years ago, he almost lost his leg from infection, and he didn't ever think that he was going to be able to go hunting again, and now he's out there walking around with us and stuff. So it's pretty cool to be able to get one more hunt, because you really never know what life's going to throw at you. I got 3 kids, homie's got 2 kids. Next year we might not be able to get down there, what I mean? And you never know what's going to happen, so it's always good if you got the chance to make it happen. I mean, we loaded up, we got bucks daylighting at home.
We're tired.
We drove 400 miles, woke up early, hunted, and now we got the bucket. So we got the buck up the house, and we got the work car.
Yes.
And options are put the buck on top of the truck or the car, ratchet strap it down, and drive it 400 miles north. It's 50 degrees out, though. Or hang the deer, quarter the deer, cape the deer out, whole 9 yards, put it in a cooler, put it in the back of the car. So we go with that option, because homie's going to still try to kill.
Yeah.
And
there's only room for one deer on top of it.
There's only room for one. I mean, we could have done 2 and just stacked them on top of each other, so we decided to quarter it up, and we got that whole deer in one cooler. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe that when it just kept sliding in there. And
ribs are in there.
Yeah, ribs are in there.
Heart,
quarters, loin, inner loin, for everything is in that neck meat. And here in the county that I was in Polk County, Missouri, they have a mandatory CWD check-in, and that's something me and homie had never done with. And we had to leave 6 inches of the neck, and they wanted to check the lymph nodes, I guess.
Yep.
So you had to actually drive into town, which is about 25 miles away, take the deer to the testers, and they cut the lymph nodes out, and then they send them all off to get tested. And we were there, and man, there was a lot of small bucks that were getting hammered today. There was trucks with like 4 or 5 deer in the back of them, fork and horn, 6-pointers, basket 8s, does, 4-wheelers with 2 deer piled up on top of them.
Just nobody holding back.
Like I told homie, I mean, the neighbor told my grandpa that he missed a fork and horn this morning. You know what I mean? That people, rifle hunting's like a big event down there at the opening day of rifle season, and they got 10 days to get it done down there straight with a rifle. So there's a lot of deer, a lot of small bucks that get shot in that area, and that's why you don't get those 150 class deer, 160 class deer, because that mass carries a lot of it. The no ag hurts a lot, and then just the people shooting a lot of small deer. And we always say, shoot what makes you happy. But if you're trying to shoot nice class deer, it's hard. But my grandpa does an excellent job of not shooting small deer. And and we've done that. He's had a 4-point restriction on me since my first deer. 4-point restriction. You know what I mean? The first deer I shot off that piece was a 4-point restriction. And
on one side, right?
Yeah, one side. Yeah. And that wasn't the county. That was just like his rule. It needs to be an 8-pointer. And they've had 150 class deer on that property, you know what I mean? So pretty epic. And I told homie, I said, a 140 is a really nice deer for that area. And I mean, I don't know what you were thinking you're getting into, but
yeah, it's just hard. You're so dead set. I'm so used to hunting Illinois. Got pretty much my barometer of what I'm targeting there, and then to go elsewhere and, do a quick trip like this, like, you want to shoot what you're comfortable with, but you can only hunt what's there. Like, if there's not a 150 there, which would be insane, but if there's not a 150 there, you're not going to shoot a 150. If there's, 2 130s and 3 120s, well, you should probably be pretty damn happy with a 120. If you had 5 target bucks at home,
and you shot one of the smaller ones, you'd be pretty jacked.
Exactly. So, all weekend that we were down there, we'd see either trail cam pics or somebody's mounts or, whatever. And we're like, is that dying? We'd ask each other, is that dying? Is that dying? So it's just something hard to do. I think it's really hard to do.
It is, yeah.
To really change
even that buck today, I was like, that's borderline at home with a bow.
Yeah.
That's right there. Like, man, and you could tell just from the other bucks we've seen and the does that we've seen, that was a mature deer. The body size was double of what everything else we've seen. You know what I mean?
That doe looked like tiny out there.
The doe was tiny out there. So it's hard to you got to get in the mindset. And just like those guys, we got a lot of friends hunting Georgia, Mississippi, and they see the deer we got, and then they're like, man, I never got anything like that. But to me, if you shoot a 130 down there or 120, you got a solid deer, in a lot of parts of the country, just like here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there was a deer at that CW check-in where there was probably 30 or 40 deer that was 120 in the back of a truck, you know what I mean?
No, and there was nobody in the taxidermy line.
Yeah,
they
had like taxidermy line, and then they had just regular, they had fawn. It was fawn and taxidermy. Anybody that knows anything about CWD, for some reason they wanted the fawns in one line. I don't know why that is. Maybe you're thinking the lip nodes wasn't big enough or something. We should have asked. Maybe we would have learned something.
We were just trying to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, we're just trying to get out of Dodge. But anyways, we've probably seen 30 deer in the back of trucks and nothing over 120.
Yeah, for the 3 minutes we were back there.
Yeah, we were there for 3 or 4 minutes. There's just deer all over the back of trucks, cars, four-wheelers, and nothing over 120. So we shot a really solid 10-pointer. We roughed him at 131, and we were pretty stingy on him. So I'm feeling like he's about a 130 class deer. Back home, if you had that frame, it would have been a 140 all day because you'd had a little more mass to carry him out. You just don't have the mass down here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm incredibly jacked on that deer. 60-yard rifle kill. We get a lot of comments. People are getting ashamed to kill stuff with a gun, man, and I'm not about that life. Neither is homie. Whatever it takes to get done is what we say. I told homie, I said, I'm going to get a crossbow out and just kill something with a crossbow. Because there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to get out there and hunt, you hunt your way, however you want to do it. And, whatever the haters say, they're going to say. We love bow hunting. We love shotgun hunting. We just like trying to hunt these deer. Whatever you got to do, And most of our kills have been bow kills. I mean, we both have one with a gun on the wall.
Yep.
Yeah, we both have one with a gun on the wall.
What do we got, 10 between us?
Yeah, and two out of 10 are guns. So 20% gun kills. The rest are bow kills. So I mean, that's pretty good scale. But if it comes down to me getting it done with a gun, it comes down to me getting done with a gun. So
yeah,
it ain't gonna alter me. I'm just as proud of that deer whether I shot it with an Adderall or what, or Atlatl, whatever they are, or a rifle. You know what I mean?
I did not think Atlatl was gonna get brought up on this episode.
It's legal in Missouri. I was reading the registrations, and certain size, you're good to go. But yeah, that got it done in Missouri. So we've been hunting hard for 8 days straight. Got 400 miles of travel under our belt, about 6.5 hours, and we got bucks daylighting at home, and we got wife and kids that are needing their dads. So we loaded up the car tonight. What we leave about 7 something.
Yeah, it was probably 7:45 by the time we got out of CWD.
We know that we need to get home, and I'm going back to work on Monday. Homie's going back to Rut on Monday, and he's going to be hitting it hard all week. And I know with me being gone, how much catch up I'm gonna have to do. It's gonna be brutal. The amount of frogs that are gonna need worked on and stuff. You know what I mean? So I know I'm gonna be working a lot. So we talked about it, and we decided to take the next day off, spend some time with the family. And that's one thing that we talk about a lot on this podcast. It's hard to juggle wife, kids, hunting. But I think we've been going 8 days hardcore, nonstop, 100 mile an hour, close encounter, and we finally got it done. So now we're gonna set back one day, you know, and kind of rest our souls and get our batteries charges, spend some time with our boys. Our boys are missing us, and give the wife a break from kids wrestling around the house. Now we can wrestle with them and do the 400-mile trip back. We got about 206 miles now. We're about halfway. So almost back to Illinois, back to the big buck state.
Yeah.
Homie, you want to do a quick rundown of what you got planned for your rutcation the next week?
Yeah. We're just kind of looking at the wind situation coming up. Temps are going to be actually a little high. I think on Wednesday, the temperature is going to be like 53. So for late November, because this week is a week later in the year than it was last year for shotgun. So it's going to be mid to high 40s, one day in the 50s. With the wind, I'm going to be able to hunt Boonertown Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm going to take the jaunt down to my private piece, hunt the buck nest. Wednesday, sit all day. And then Thursday, I'm just kind of leaving open. Might hook up with another guy, hunt with him. I can go to Boonertown. I can make something of the private piece work. Thursday, I'm just going to wait and see what comes up. That's a long time from now, you know what I mean? As long as this week was. So just keeping that open, keep my options open. You're going to miss opening shotgun, correct?
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I took an extra day earlier. I took that Friday to get out on the public.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to work it. The bad thing about us is, like I said, none of our our coworkers are hardcore hunters, but a lot of shotgun hunters that take that day off and have it scheduled for a month, you know, and I haven't had it scheduled. So it kind of depends on what I got going on, but I'll more than likely be working. I might try to sneak out, might try to get off at 3 and sneak out and maybe hunt like the Moultrie set or something.
Just push a giant right to me.
Yeah, push a giant right to you, but hunt something on the edge, you know, get that last hour and a half of the hunt in.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Just to get out there, and then Saturday and Sunday be all day sets, full hardcore again, out there with the shotgun, trying to get it done. But your shotgun, we're going Boonertown all day, right?
Yep. Friday I'll be on Boonertown, county specific with the gun tags, so be rocking the private there.
We still got multiple shooters that we know are alive. We had one buck get hit on the road, head cut off.
Yeah, we don't know which one because when we seen it, the head was gone.
Yeah. And then the neighbor shot another one of our giants. Probably a high 160s class deer.
Yep.
Got shot a couple hundred yards from our piece. So
one picture of that deer.
One picture of the deer, and
all year. One
set of pictures, and he's killed right next to the property right next to us. Just never left that. Never came back. Never, not on cam at least. But I think like you're gonna do a couple moves with the lone wolves, try to get tucked into that bedding.
Yeah.
I think with southeast that actually might not be too terrible. I don't know.
I'm gonna say, I think 2 days next week are gonna be southeast. So
yeah, southeast. That's
a little off the wall.
That would be real good to get tucked up in that corner on that bedding though, coming out of that draw. That might be a real good option. Or hunt that cedar that I hunted and cut out.
Yeah.
See if he's coming through there, working that bottom.
Can you see down in that draw at all?
To the right?
Yeah.
No, not really.
No.
Yeah.
See,
you need to see it down in there. You need to take the lone wolves in there, maybe hunt somewhere in the morning, and then get down, move the lone wolf closer in there and set up, 9 and hunt the rest of the day.
Do you think you access from the west,
Yeah,
like
east.
from the scrape tree?
Access from the east, all the way across that field. If you have southeast, be blowing out in that field. Come in just like when we hunted Sunshine, and then work the back of those cedars. Pop right in right there.
Oh, I thought I was talking about if you hunted down in that corner.
I don't think that corner is where he's at coming in, because we'd see him through there. I think you need to hunt the more southeast side of it, like in the corner where that draw is coming out in that field. I think he's bedding that draw in that field.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up, and we got about 4 hours to talk about it.
Yeah. We'll wrap this episode up, and then we'll.
But this will be what the next 4 hours of this car ride will be.
Yeah.
That and talking about videos.
Yeah, trying to figure out where this deer is. That big heavy he's been there a lot, man. He's on that property, so a homie shoot him this week. I'm hoping he kills there or the buck nest, and then one of us gets one down with a shotgun, and we can at least get 3 good videos for you guys. We're putting a lot of work on the videos, man. We're getting right there, right on the edge. Some epic film compared to last year's stuff. Just absolute epic stuff. Big jump in gear, big jump in, I'm not gonna say skill, but just knowledge of knowing what we're doing with the cameras now. We'll wrap this episode up. One more thing I am going to say. I am going to get Rainer out on his first official hunt in the wagon blind. Dude is jacked. I'm moving it in, and he's thinking he's going out the same night. And he was pretty devastated when I told him no.
Bro, it's 19 degrees.
Yeah, it's super cold, but those high temps during shotgun and an evening hunt.
No reason not to,
No reason not to drag him out there and load him up in there and just let him. He wants to know kind of what we do, and he's getting to that age. He's asking a lot of questions, and I'm hoping I just see a doe and he can kind of watch her peck around the food plot and tell him we planted that. But leading into that, it's shotgun season. It's a lot of time around for us. People hunting with their families, making memories, deer camp, stuff like that. So goes right along with leaving a legacy, and White Tail Legacy's out.